See ya.
That is the great Kev Rumens flying in the way that we know Kev Rumens likes to. And that was the sound of 4 Rolls-Royce Bristol Olympus 202 engines, 16,500 pounds of static thrust each of them, total of about 65,000. Keeping it slightly less than that, in the interests of keeping the old girl going nicely. So we got to hear the Vulcan howl. I hope we'll get to hear it again. And you get to see as she turns around onto finals and back down the runway again, that wonderful triangular shape, as designed in 1946 by the wonderful Roy Chadwick, who also designed the Lancaster and the Anson, great Avro aeroplanes. So as Kev brings the Vulcan in along the runway, along the display line, I'm looking to see him accelerate her to about 300 knots, 345 miles an hour.
Oh, noise.
So when he takes the power off, it all goes quiet again. She's in the colours, this aeroplane. She has the Lincoln coat of arms on the fin, plus the Panther's head of number 1 group. That was the Royal Air Force group that controlled all of the Vulcans. And she represents all of the Vulcan squadrons in the 70s. That's number 9, 12, 27, 35, 44, 50, 83, 101, 617. And the operational conversion unit. She also has painted on her nose the spirit of Great Britain, which really encapsulates all that she stands for. Now I think next we're going to see Kev Rumens bring her round towards us on the axis, which I'm sure we've done many times today, heading straight in towards us, and then as she tiptoes up on us again, we'll hear the power come on as he takes her into a spiral climb. Vulcan first flew in 1952, only 11 years after the first flight of the Lancaster. Look at the two of them together and you think they come from different centuries. Not a bit of it. Designed by the same team. Apart from protecting us from being overcome by nuclear holocaust during the Cold War, Vulcan never went to war until, that is, the 30th of April 1982, when one Vulcan, 607, hit the centre line of the Port Stanley runway in the Falkland Islands with one bomb and the edge of the runway with another, making the runway unusable for Argentine fast jets. And until the Gulf War, that was the longest bombing raid in history, 7,760 miles round trip, which is about the same distance as from here to Bali in one hop. And the whole trip took no less than 18 air-to-air refuelings. That aircraft, 607, is now static at RIAT Wellington. And when there's a Wellington air show, you used to be able to see 558 fly overhead. But of course no more, because this is 558's last season. She's going to fly down the runway with her wheels down. All 18 of them, in case you're in a mood for counting, or in case you've been on one of the underwing tours this morning and able to count them at first hand. There you see the undercarriage going up, wheels tilt back, spacious undercarriage bay. Of the amazing agility of this aeroplane. She doesn't have a big control yoke like most bombers. She has fighter type control columns for each of the pilots. And of course she is amazingly agile. In the early days at the Farnborough Air Show, their test pilots actually rolled the aeroplane. And that became rather frowned upon. She wasn't allowed to do it anymore. It's perfectly within her capabilities. As she comes in this time, we may see the bomb doors opening. There we go. Bomb doors open. And you get an idea of the enormous size of that bomb bay. The bomb bay, of course, is the heart of the bomber. That's what it's all about. And in fact, on that bombing raid to the Falkland Islands, the aircraft took 21 1,000-pound bombs, more than 10 tons of bombs. They dropped all 21 of them. They only hit the runway with 2. That was par for the course. These were more or less wartime dump bombs, no guidance amongst them or anything. So if you wanted to hit a specific target, you went for a lot of overkill so that you'd be sure of getting it. And indeed, they did get it. The pilot at that time, Martin Withers, who is now the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. He was awarded a DFC, and his crew were mentioned in dispatches. As she comes back in front of us again, expect to see the bomb bay closing. Nowadays it just contains the names of lots and lots and lots of people who have contributed so wonderfully to this grand old thing flying. The biggest problem throughout her life has been money. It may seem obvious, but she's not funded by the government. She doesn't belong to the Royal Air Force. And to get this far has cost more than £22 million. And she's still costing £2 million a year. That money has come from everybody. You've given your money in single pounds, in tens of thousands and everything in between. The late Sir Jack Hayward, wonderful. And also very generous Eddie Forrester of Aerovites. There's been big support from the CAA, as well as the 3 technical authority companies, BAE Systems, Marshall Aerospace and Defence Group, and Rolls-Royce. Many other companies have given fantastic help. Airbus, AD Holdings, Beagle Technology, Cranfield Aerospace, Goodrich, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier Doughty and Serco. But it is the 3 technical authority companies that will finally bring Vulcan's illustrious flying life to a close. So that once the 3 technical authority companies have ceased their support at the end of this flying season, the Civil Aviation Authority regulations mean that Vulcan will be prohibited from flying. So the end of her career is not about funding, it's It's not about the supply of spare parts, but it is about mandatory third-party support. It is interesting to note that this aircraft has flown more than 10% more hours than any other Vulcan has ever flown. Her structures and systems are thus into an unknown area, but she is as safe as she's ever been. She is very well looked after. But it's becoming increasingly difficult to find the expertise for the companies to continue to look after her. She is still being enjoyed by 3 million people every year, probably a whole lot more this year, including children and young people who are inspired to learn more about engineering and aviation. As she went into her zoom climb, and she'll be coming back later on. How nice to see the red arrows giving her a real red, white and blue salute before they do their takeoff. I'll be back later.
He certainly will, and a very